We are, I think, beyond whatever House Baroon might consider appropriate.
Today, on Starfield Essentials, your weekly Starfield news report. In our first segment, Seize the Key. Souls of Cities changes NPCs forever. Chunks for All is free and menacing. New Game Plus Universe B work in progress. Starfield Virtual Reality Demo. In our second segment, Starfield, 12th best-selling game of 2023. Shattered Space voted second best DLC of 2024. My own micro stutters. The Starfield Hate Triangle. More Sarah Morgan fan art. In our third segment, non-lethal framework and useful Brigs updated. Be nice with Incapacificator 3000. Make anyone a friend with Acts of Friends. Pose NPCs with usable animation markers. Bring the pain with Alternate Vasco. In our fourth segment, Sense digipicks and credit sticks. Batten's Shipwrecks are fun. Mattgyver posters are in-game and awesome. Show stock quantity reveals outpost resources and new channel members. My name is Richard. Let's get started. Seize the Key. Taking out essential NPCs has been a hot topic. I covered one mod, No Essential NPCs, that provided that functionality last week. This week, modder AGD25 released another option called Burn Your Bridges. It's available on Creations and Nexus mods. Why did I try this new mod? Burn Your Bridges advertised that I could enable the mod and attack the pirate space station known as the Key, without having to do any of the UC Vanguard quest. This sounded fun. I have several characters who have not done the UC Vanguard quest, and I would enjoy taking over the Key with 0 quest requirements. Beware that if you enable this mod, or any mod that lets you eliminate key NPCs, you can break your game. In other words, you will no longer be able to complete the UC Vanguard quest if you dispose of certain essential NPCs. Here's an example of how that works. I have just boarded the Key, and you'll see that I'm about to confront Ava. Blammo. She's down. It says, you have killed an essential NPC, and I have now failed the quest. So, if you want to do the Crimson Fleet quest, you need to do it properly. You can't use this mod. You can't just go in and start blasting NPCs. I think I was able to gain access to the Crimson Fleet mission board, though. I haven't tried any of these missions, so that's the next test I'm going to have with this mod. Was able to take quite a few prisoners, though. You can see here Aludra Tahan. She is the vendor in the Key. And I also got Delgado himself. I wasn't able to do anything with him, though, afterwards. If you're a named NPC, you tend not to have interactivity after you've been captured. Next, Souls of Cities changes NPCs forever. And by the way, the first footage you're watching here is vanilla Starfield for comparison later. One of my faithful viewers recommended I take a look at the Souls of Cities mod by Laurent Kiar, who is one of my favorite modders. Souls of Cities is only available on Nexus mods because it requires the Starfield script extender. One of the critiques of Starfield, and I believe this one is reasonable, is that there seems to be 2 classes of NPCs, at least visually. One class of NPC has full features and is as well rendered as the player and their companions. The second class, well, we've all seen the bug-eyed NPCs of New Atlantis, Neon, and elsewhere, and wondered, what is this horror? Laurent Kiar has rectified this situation, by the way, as we can see now with this new footage from Neon, by creating a modular people system that changes the way NPCs look, move, sound, and are equipped. Laurent Kiar explained the differences in the Souls of City mod description, which I summarize here. NPCs wear normal playable apparel with outfits that are fully animated and have appropriate physics. NPCs have the same movement options as the player. They don't move like robots. NPCs have proper faces, not masks. They have reflex movement, emotions, blinking, and facial reflexes. NPCs have more voice types. And NPCs have over 1 billion name options, not just Citizen. Although this mod has been available since February 2024, this new version 5 manages NPCs using a custom face gen processor. It is multi-threaded, which I'm just shocked. I'm surprised someone can actually do this. This is amazing. And Laurent Kiar has tested it with around 250 NPCs. I saw no problem running it with my normal gameplay settings. I assume Bethesda introduced the original 2-class system for NPCs as a way to enable Starfield to run on less powerful hardware. There's a lot more to say about how this works, but I recommend you check out the mod page on Nexus if you want more details. And as you can see, there are some NPCs from other locations who end up in the game just as a result of this new mod. So I'm sitting next to Reina Marquez, who is usually on the Den, I believe. But Laurent Kiar has sprinkled a few sort of second-tier NPCs throughout the game for you to find. So thank you, Laurent Kiar, for providing this amazing mod. Please check it out. Next, Chunks for All is free and menacing. One of you asked if I would take a look at the Chunks for All mod by Synth, also known as L'Homme à l'Envers on Reddit. This is a New Game Plus alternative universe. In this setting, many people appear to be addicted to chunks, and something nefarious is happening. I'm not the sort of player who makes the jump to New Game Plus that often, but from the perspective of understanding the game engine, I was curious how this mod might work. You can find Chunks for All for 600 credits on Creations, or for free on Nexus mods. Chunks for All is advertised as an add-on for the New Game Plus Multiverse mod by the same author, but you don't need that mod to use Chunks for All. For my test, I used the free Nexus mods version as a standalone mod. Let's take a brief look at some of the changes. Sarah's not too bad, but spoil the warning. There's Walter, and it starts to get more interesting. Again, 3, 2, 1. Here's Noelle. She's not that much changed. You could tell some differences there. But there's Andreja. Oh my goodness. She's gone full Wakanda warrior, I guess. And Barrett. The best part about Barrett, honestly, to me, is the fact that he's wearing that Chunks uniform. I really like that. That's actually a pretty cool looking shirt. Or jacket, I suppose. And then finally, we have Sam Coe. And Sam Coe appears to have gotten kind of a haircut. I don't know. I just appreciate that there are modders out there who are experimenting with the engine. They're experimenting with making New Game Plus actually look different. So, congratulations to Synth for this work. Next, New Game Plus Universe B work in progress. Speaking of modder Synth, last fall they released New Game Plus Multiverse A, which is available on Creations and Nexus mods. I did not try that as I was not checking alternate universes when it released. This past week, however, Synth announced New Game Plus Multiverse B. Here are some of the changes you can see in some familiar NPCs. Here's the new Heller and Lynn. Pretty cool. Walter Stroud. I actually like the looks of that guy. New Andreja. I like this one a lot. Here's Barrett. Yeah, this is cool. I like these characters. And finally, here is Sarah. I saw some people react negatively to Sarah being a brunette, but that's kind of the whole point of the new multiverse. So anyway, I look forward to seeing this mod arrive. Next, Starfield Virtual Reality Demo. I previously mentioned that a Starfield Virtual Reality mod was in the works. In that video, I mistakenly attributed the mod to Verified Games. Turns out Verified Games is a social media account that tests and promotes VR gaming. The developer behind the VR Starfield work is a modder named Mutar, or Sergei Permiakov. I found this footage from a demo he made in October, so it's an early look at the software in action. I was able to track this down because Verified Games published new footage of them testing the latest version of Mutar's mod. I was disappointed to hear Verified Games call Starfield, quote, fraught with bugs, and quote, devoid of variety and devoid of life, end quote. It makes me wonder if Verified Games actually play this game or just watch big YouTube channels complain about it for clicks. So let's be clear. Mutar, Sergei Permiakov, gets the credit for this VR mod work in progress, not this Verified Games channel. I'll link to Mutar's demo video if you want details on it. Just to be clear, I'm not a VR player, but I want those of you who are VR players to be aware of this development. Next, Starfield, 12th best-selling game of 2023. I missed this a few months ago. It's part of a study of the top 20 selling video games of each year from 2000 through 2023 by Matt Piscatella of Circana. Our favorite, Starfield, was number 12, despite being on Game Pass. Good job, Starfield. Next, Shattered Space voted second best DLC of 2024. True Achievements voters chose Starfield's Shattered Space as the runner-up best DLC of 2024, only behind the Elden Ring DLC. It's not bad for a DLC that so many people didn't like. Next, my own micro stutters. If you spend any time looking at posts about Starfield in places like Reddit, you will see posts about micro stutters in the game. So I tried to capture some of these. There. 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 So those are what the micro starters look like. As you can see, I had my first encounter with micro starters when I activated the Survivors mini quest in the Robin Lock creation. I talked about Robin Lock in a previous video. I posted about this on my YouTube community page, and many of you responded. I'll link to it in the description. In my case, the micro stutters disappeared once I finished the Robin Lock quest. Now remember, I post content like this on a daily basis to my YouTube channel blog post area. If you subscribe to this channel, you will see these posts in your YouTube feeds. By the way, doesn't Robin Lock look good in that beret and the first uniform? Thank you, thank you. Next, the Starfield hate triangle. This week, a Redditor posted that they were surprised by the lack of hate for Starfield within the community of Japanese gamers. I don't know whether this is true or not, but it prompted me to answer with the following. There's a hate triangle consisting of Reddit, game journalists, and rage tubers. They feed off each other. How many times did we see some complaint posted here on Reddit turn into a Screen Rant article within a couple hours? And then big rage tubers latch onto the articles and rant away to the tune of hundreds of thousands of views, which gets picked up by the Redditors as proof that modders have abandoned Starfield, Emil had no design doc, and dozens of other false narratives. Meanwhile, millions, and factually it is millions, 15 million plus per Microsoft, happily play the game. Starfield was the 21st most played Xbox game of 2023, despite only being around for the last 3 months. Starfield was in the top 40 true achievements rank, 62 of its first 65 weeks in existence, better than every other RPG. I bet the Japanese missed all this because the hate triangle is primarily in English, and why bother with it? This is a topic that will never stop being discussed. Perhaps it will be discussed less often once the Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5 arrive, and the anti-fans can express their disappointment in another Bethesda title. Next, more Sarah Morgan fan art. Switching from anti-fandom to true fandom, check out this art by Redditor Rogue144. I always appreciate seeing someone express their creativity, and this art certainly qualifies. I would say Sarah Morgan liked all of that. Next, non-lethal framework and useful Brigs updated. 2 of my top mods received major version bumps this week. They are by Coradic. The mods are non-lethal framework, available on Creations, and Nexus mods, and useful Brigs, also available on Creations and Nexus mods. By using these mods, plus skills such as diplomacy or methods I will share shortly, I can arrest almost anyone I encounter and later turn them in for credits. The mechanics for both of these mods are basically unchanged, but Coradic has improved the mods to meet Bethesda's latest standards. Specifically, the mods are now small masters. This essentially makes it easier to have more mods running simultaneously. Coradic mentioned that paid achievement-friendly versions of these mods will likely arrive on Creations. The free versions will continue to be available on Creations and Nexus mods. Note, mods which depend upon non-lethal framework and useful Brigs will likely need updates to remain compatible. In my case, I was pleased to see Mattel's Brig furniture updated. This mod makes it possible to fill a ship with chairs that can hold individual prisoners. Next, be nice with Incapacificator 3000. Speaking of prisoners, I discovered a mod which makes it easier to subdue NPCs and then restrain them using non-lethal framework. This mod is called Incapacificator 3000 by XTC Refugee, a modder featured previously on the channel. Incapacificator 3000 is available on Creations and Nexus mods. This is a really simple weapon, but I think it's brilliant. What it does is non-violently subdue an opponent with a single shot. No one reacts aggressively to being hit with a blast. Once the target is subdued, you can restrain the NPC and then send them to your brig. This is a great option if your character fails a diplomacy check. Next, make anyone a friend with Axe of Friends. And speaking of neat weapons, in air quotes, this week modder Ghost Rider 231 released Axe of Friends. This mod is available on Creations and Nexus mods. This mod is also very simple, but its simplicity and functionality are great in my opinion. Basically, anyone you strike with this axe becomes a friendly follower. If you don't want the NPC to follow you anymore, you just hit them with the axe again. I love this mechanic because it doesn't require any controller buttons to activate it. When using other NPC interaction mods, the controller menu can run out of slots. With an axe, you just smack the intended target and enjoy the benefits. Best of all, it also works on creatures. Next, pose NPCs with usable animation markers. Here's another mod by XTC Refugee released last week that works well with the new buddies you make using the Axe of Friends. It's called Usable Animation Markers. It's only available on Nexus mods. What this mod does is twofold. First, it lets you find animation markers already present in the game. These are constructs placed in the world that guide NPC actions, like leaning against a railing, reading a slate, lying on the ground, or whatever. XTC Refugee advises players to think of these markers like new pieces of furniture. Second, once you find the markers, you can use them yourself to pose your player. If you combine this mod with XTC Refugee's mod Command NPCs, you can order those following you to use the animation markers. Command NPCs is available on Creations and Nexus mods. This is mainly useful for staging photographs, I think. I played with it all for a while, but I was soon ready to move on to the following topic. Next, bring the pain with Alternate Vasco. While looking at the latest mods by Korodic, I noticed that they had released an Alternate Vasco mod in July of 2024. Alternate Vasco is available on Creations and Nexus mods. If you have access to Nexus mods, you might also want to apply the Rev 8 compatibility patch by Gunner 810. This improves the animation seen when your modified Vasco jumps into the Rev 8 vehicle. My favorite part of this Alternate Vasco mod is being able to equip him with serious firepower. Alright, let's see what this Vasco can do. I've given him some cannons and oh my goodness! Look at this guy go! Alternate Vasco is the best. The only problem is his... Oh, there he goes, charging into battle. Go get him, Alternate Vasco! Oh my goodness. The only problem is his hit points are all the same. Oh, go get him, Alternate Vasco! Anyway, check out this mod if you'd like to try this. It's a lot of fun. Next, sense digipicks and credit sticks. Now we have a couple very small mods that slightly alter default Starfield behavior in what I think is a beneficial manner. These two mods are by Wolkmuller. Sense digipicks and sense credit sticks are available only on Nexus mods. All these two mods do is make their items, digipicks or credits, glow. And if you were looking at the screen there, you could see off to the left, there are some lines. Do you see them right there? Yeah. Those are the credit sticks that you might be recognizing that are in the Red Mile. The glow obviously is visible through walls. This is minor, but it makes it easier to identify these items in a room when looting. So let's walk up to the table, and you can see the glow going through my character's hat there. And of course, once you get close to the table, it's pretty easy to see all the credit sticks that are out there. And I was able to find a digipick. You see it glowing right there, right next to the power circuit. So I didn't have the cred stick one enabled when I filmed this particular footage, but there's the digipick glowing, and we grab it. Next. Batten's Shipwrecks are fun. You know I'm always looking for mods which add POIs and related areas. This week I tried Batten's Shipwrecks by Battenberger. This mod is available on Creations and Nexus mods. This mod adds a variety of shipwreck POIs in uninhabited systems. The modder recommends checking out places like Bardeen, Leviathan, Enlil, Schrodinger, and Katydid. I was concerned that it might be difficult to find these locations, similar to the forgotten POIs mentioned in a previous video. However, I started looking in the Bardeen system and found several right away. These are not visible from space. When landed, they show up with unique scanner icons. They have titles like Distress Beacon and Old Crash Site. I really like seeing modders add locations like this to the game. Next, Mattgyver posters are in-game and awesome. Early last year, I became aware of the work by Matt Benson, aka Mattgyver. His original Starfield system map sits proudly on my wall. While preparing this script, I learned Matt had updated this poster to include the shattered space system of Kavnik, so I had to buy a new copy. I also bought his new pharma and recipe diagrams. Anyway, these posters are now available as virtual posters that you can put in your ship or outposts. They are found on Creations. These are more of a novelty than anything else, but I proudly added them to a hastily built outpost just to check them out. A link to Matt's work is in the description. Next, show stock quantity reveals outpost resources. Speaking of outposts, have you ever been crafting and wondered just how much of a resource is in your inventory? The default values max out at 999, which is ridiculous. Remember, in my O2 shot farm video linked below, I used thousands of many resources to farm XP and credits. Now, thanks to modder Eagle 4, we have the Show Stock Quantity mod. It's only available at Nexus Mods. This mod leverages the research station to show the true total quantity of resources available for crafting beyond the 999 limit. The number displayed is a combination of resources in your player inventory, ship inventory, and outpost warehouses. I would like to see Bethesda improve the overall outpost management system to make mods like this unnecessary. Until that happens, thank you, Eagle 4. Finally, new channel members. I would like to welcome 3 new channel members. They are Ken, 1030, Bamboozler TX, probably for Texas, and a random dude 23. If you'd like to know more about becoming a member of the channel, check out the join button on my YouTube page. It's informational and does not commit you to anything. As always, I'm grateful for every like and subscription, and for every supportive and helpful comment. Look at this person just sitting there in New Atlantis. This is what's so great about the Souls of City mod. I love it. Anyway, what have you been doing in Starfield? Your insights make this channel a place for a positive and honest discussion of the game. In addition to videos, I also post to the community tab for this channel on a daily basis. If you subscribe, you will see these posts in your YouTube feed. If you made it to this part of the video, please leave a comment with the word pirate. Also, remember to ring the bell icon and select all notifications. Check out my other videos if you want to learn how to keep your ship by building it in the creation kit, or my thoughts on the game's 1-year anniversary. My name is Richard. I will see you in the Starfield.